Greetings, everyone. My name is Jonathan Bailey. I am from the website Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com. Said it right that time. And today it is time for another 7 in 7. Or is it 7? I don't know. I'm still getting this right and left thing going. Anyways, this is the Copyright Show where I spend hours of my life every week slaving over piping hot copyright news and then serve it to you in the time it takes you to eat a light snack. So, yes, kick back, relax, and enjoy the fruits of my labor. Enjoy them. You will enjoy them. Anyways, last week's show was missed. I was at South by Southwest and unable to record. So rather than make this week a 14 and 14, we're just kind of moving on. And we're going to focus on the 7 biggest and most important stories this week. Now, what are the rules, you ask? Well, you see, this time or here. It will start when I begin talking about copyright news stuff. And it will stop either when I run out of time and fail completely and miserably, or when I finish, the 7th story. All in all, I haven't really figured out a punishment or anything. It's just this is to keep me moving. So on that note, everyone, let's do exactly that and move on with this week's copyright stories. Timer starts now. Okay, timer didn't start. Okay, first off this week we have an update to the Lens v. Universal case. That was smooth. This is the so-called dancing baby case in which a mother, Stephanie Lenz, uploaded a 29-second clip of her baby dancing with Prince's Let's Go Crazy playing in the background and Universal Music for reasons not clear to anyone, filed a DMCA takedown notice against the video. Lenz, with the help of the EFF, filed a lawsuit, and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals heard this. Now, they haven't actually ruled on the validity of the takedown itself, but there was an issue as to whether or not fair use had to be considered by the DMCA filer before such a notice was made. The court ruled, yes, it did. Now, the ruling was kind of a mixed bag, because while it did say that fair use had to be considered, it also said that it had to be a very, very light consideration, and a very deep one. And the result of that was neither side was particularly happy with this ruling, and both actually sought an en banc rehearing where they wanted the full court to hear it. The full court has declined to hear it, but did amend the decision slightly to remove a portion that said that rights holders could do this with an algorithm, some kind of automated means. It's unclear what this is actually going to mean in the longer term, but it is an interesting amendment to the previous ruling. Okay, skipping ahead now, we have a new lawsuit that pits Hewlett-Packard and Oracle against one another. Oracle has been extremely aggressive as of late, going after people who provide third-party support for their products. And they actually sued a company called Terex. I've never actually heard it read. Terex Computer Company, which provided also that type of unofficial third-party support for Solaris, an operating system owned by Oracle. The result of that lawsuit was Terex lost. Now they're going after Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, who partnered with Terex, saying that Hewlett-Packard Enterprise should have been aware and knew about the infringement and profited from it. Therefore, they should be held liable too. Brand new lawsuit, don't know a lot else about it, but it's really interesting. 2 big tech giants sort of duking it out in copyright court. Okay, monkey time! You knew this was coming, right? The monkey selfie appeal has been filed. The People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, has filed an appeal in the so-called monkey selfie case. The long and short of it is this. The PETA sued both a photographer and various people who attempt to use the photograph snapped by a macaque monkey, basically snatched the camera from a photographer's hands, snapped a selfie, and now it's a really popular photograph. They're claiming that this monkey should be able to hold copyright in the work. Now, the courts seem to take issue with that because, animals can't be copyright holders, basically. And the result of that is the lower court also agreed with, sane people and said as much. But now PETA is appealing that, giving at least some people hope that the monkey can hold copyright. It's a very, very, very bizarre case. We also have a new settlement between Spotify and songwriters, well, specifically the National Media Publishers Association, the NMPA, the NMPA. And they really need to work on that acronym. But basically, it goes like this. Spotify was failing, by their own admission now, failing to complete the terms of mechanical royalties. Mechanical royalties are the royalties that companies owe when they either print to songwriters, when they either print copies of songs, like for example, you put a cover song on a CD and sell it, you would owe mechanical royalties. Or with these on-demand streaming services, akin Spotify. So Spotify was not meeting the requirements. It's a statutory license, meaning the license is there. They just have to pay it and meet some criteria of it, basically notifying the rights holder that they're doing it. They failed to do that. So what they are doing under this settlement is setting aside between $16 and $25 million to pay royalties owed, but also an additional $5 million damages on top of that, sort of incentivize songwriters to join the class action and accept this particular settlement. Many are not entirely thrilled about it. They think Spotify deserves to take a much harder hit for its actions, but it seems likely that most music publishers, at least, will go along with this settlement. And an update to the Axanar lawsuit, Axanar being the Star Trek fan film that has now been the target of a lawsuit by CBS and Paramount. Long and short of it here is this. CBS and Paramount sued, claiming that Axanar was a copyright infringement. They seem to be upset by the fact that various people involved with this were taking a salary or receiving funds from it, which is kind of a no-no when you're dealing with fan fiction. It's not a legal thing. It's more of one of those unspoken rules. Anyways, the people behind Axanar hit back saying, hey, can you point to exactly what's infringing? And CBS and Paramount went, sure, and dropped a 28-page 28-page document with 57 instances of alleged infringement. They don't play around. Speaking of not playing around, we have a very bizarre catch-22 here when we're looking at the possible Buck Rogers film. Don Murphy, a movie producer, wants to make an adaptation of Armageddon 2419 AD. However, and he believes that novella rather, is in the public domain. However, he wanted a judge to rule as such because when he started making the ball rolling on possibly making the film, the estate, the Dilly Family Trust, which is the estate of the person who published the original book, basically said, you're going to need a license for that. Well, they went to court and they're trying to seek out some kind of judicial ruling that it's in the public domain. But the judge has now said that there's no real controversy here. They haven't directly interfered with the film. You haven't paid anything, and you haven't been accused of infringement, so there's no issue. We can't make a ruling. So basically, the only way we're going to get a ruling on whether or not Buck Rogers is in the public domain is for the rights to be infringed. And finally, because we can't go a week without talking about Donald Trump, it seems, Donald Trump is being sued by a pair of wildlife photographers, Wendy Chattel and Robert Rosinski, are suing the Donald Trump campaign for using their photo of a bald eagle. It's the bald eagle looking right into the camera. It's a pretty cool photo. Basically speaking, though, they're saying that photo has been used on a wide variety of posters and signs and other things being sold, and also the things that the Trump campaign is encouraging people to print and use themselves. So they are suing the campaign, claiming both direct and secondary copyright infringement. And there we go. I have it done, and we have 10 as we watch the last little bit of the clock wind down. All in all, pretty successful go around this time. Well, on that note, everyone, thank you very much for your time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I will see you guys next week.